Hello everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day, and today guys I want to make a quick little update video on the Fallen Thunder Monk build I did do about a week ago to show that it is still kicking ass now that we've made it deep into Endgame. Now I'll be honest, this might not be the best Invoker Monk build out there on the market, but it definitely gets the job done very effectively, and I personally think it's super fun to play. And it's not going to cost you your bloody left kidney to build either. So if you like blasting through enemies with loads of elements at your disposal, then maybe this build might be the build for you. Okay, so I am mainly just going to be talking about the changes that I did make to this build based on a lot of other people's feedback and also watching other build videos, and also to kind of fill you guys in with anything new that I have learned while playing Monk. This is just so I can keep the video as short as possible. I don't want to keep you guys here any longer than you need to be listening to this random yobbo. We all would rather be playing more Path of Exile 2, am I right? Let's move on over to the skills and the gems. I will just go over all the skills for you, and then I will show you the support gems that I am taking with the skills. So we do have Tempest Flurry, we have Combat Frenzy buff, we have Charge Staff, we have Tempest Bell, Herald of Ice, Shattering Palm, Herald of Thunder, Falling Thunder, big star of the show, and Ghost Dance buff. And just to go over the supports for Tempest Flurry, I am using Martial Tempo, I am using Close Combat, I am using Rage, and I am also using Primal Armament. These four support gems, I feel like a lot of other people are running as well. They're super strong, they work super well together. The main reason we have Rage here is going to boost all of our damage by 30%, I think. And because we also have Rage Forged on our Tempest Bell, so we can consume 10 Rage if possible to do 35% more damage. That on your bell feels oh so good consuming that 10 Rage, especially with bosses because you're just going to delete them 35% faster. And for the Combat Frenzy, I do have the Perfusion support gem. This is just going to give Combat Frenzy a 50% chance to give us additional charges. We're going to get Frenzy charges, which then will be converted into power charges. For Charge Staff, I got Persistent, we got Strip Away, and we also have Cold Exposure. Strip Away and Cold Exposure work hand in hand together. Now, Cold Exposure is going to allow us to apply Cold Exposure when we critically hit with cold damage. We are running a bit of cold damage, so I'm assuming that when we crit with cold damage, it will apply exposure, and then Strip Away will apply an extra 30% on top of that exposure we do apply with Charge Staff. So very strong setup. I do like this setup a lot. With Tempest Bell, the supports for Tempest Bell, I do have Super Critical, and we have Magnified Effect. I just mentioned Rage Forge. Magnified Effect is going to give it more area effect, which is nice. And Super Critical is going to give the bell 100% more crit damage bonus, which is, this is really strong for the bell considering you can just spam it so quickly with Tempest Flurry or Ice Strike depending what you're using. So because you can spam it so quickly, I feel like the less crit chance doesn't really affect the bell that much because you just spam it so quickly until it's deleted. So getting that 100% extra crit damage bonus feels very strong. For Herald of Ice, we do have Innovate, and we also have Elemental Focus. Innovate is good whenever Herald of Ice kills a shock enemy. Our attacks are going to gain 35% of damage and lightning damage. And then with Elemental Focus we're just having more elemental damage, but it cannot inflict elemental ailment, which is completely fine. I was using Hand of Kyula before. I did switch to Shattering Palm just so I can start taking points out of intelligence. Now for the supports for Shattering Palm, we have Cold Infusion and also Ice Bite. Ice Bite, I feel like is very strong with Shattering Palm. So whenever you kill a frozen enemy, all of our attacks are going to gain 35% damage as cold damage. Very easy to kill a frozen enemy with Shattering Palm, given that it puts ice crystals on the enemy, and when they explode, they can freeze and destroy other enemies. So I notice you do get the Ice Bite buff very consistently when using Shattering Palm. It feels very strong. And then Cold Infusion is good just to further boost our cold damage by 25%. I will say Hand of Kyula is a little bit better for bossing, but Shattering Palm, you know, it still gets the job done, boys. The Herald of Thunder, I've got Concentrated Effect, and I've also got Blind. Concentrated Effect and Blind seem to feel quite good. And then the Falling Thunder supports, I have Perpetual Charge, we have Long Shot, Inevitable Critical, and also Ricochet. Perpetual Charge is a bit of a no-brainer. We are using Falling Thunder. We want to use Falling Thunder with max stack. So it is nice when you drop maximum amount of power charges that you just get maximum amount of power charges back. So Perpetual Charge does help this build flow a hell of a lot better. So Longshot's going to boost its damage by 35% when it hits enemies like 7 meters away, which I think is very easy to do. Since when you do drop 5 or 6 power charges with Falling Thunder, all the fissures are going to just beam out and hit enemies off the screen, which are well and truly more than 7 meters away. And then next we have inevitable critical. And remember, with this, it's not giving you a 100% chance to crit. So after 4 seconds, you're not just gonna get a crit. It will just be 100% more crit. So if you got like 20% crit, you now have 40% crit, which is still a very substantial increase, don't get me wrong. But yeah, you're not just getting a guaranteed crit. It's just 100% of the crit percentage that you already have based off your weapon. And to make it even more effective, this support gem, oh, it feels so goddamn good now that they've buffed it, is Ricochet. Ricochet before was a 20% chance for projectiles to chain off the terrain. Now they've buffed it and it's 40%. They gave it a 100% increase. I absolutely love Ricochet now because there's just so many times where you use Mac Charges, Falling Thunder, and the walls just eat it. They're yummy. Give me all that damage. It does nothing. It doesn't hit the enemies. It misses the enemies. When you have Ricochet, it hits the walls and it has a 40% chance to bounce back. So the more projectiles you shoot out, i.e. when you're dumping 5 to 6 power charges with Falling Thunder, if you're dumping more, good for you. You're going to have even more chance for all those projectiles that you shoot out to ricochet off the environment. And each fissure that you shoot out with Falling Thunder is its own projectile, because every power charge gives you 3 extra projectiles from Falling Thunder. So you have a good, very high chance that all of those can ricochet. And one thing I've noticed with Ricochet is they will always aim lock an enemy. At least with Falling Thunder anyway. There's be plenty of times you dump a Falling Thunder, hits the wall, and the ricochets will always target an enemy. I've never not seen them not target an enemy. Every time it ricochets with Falling Thunder, at least in my experience, it always goes towards the enemy. So Ricochet is very, very strong, very, very powerful if you are using projectiles. And then last but not least, we have Ghost Dance. I do have Clarity support here, which is going to give us 30% increased mana generation while we have this supported skill active. Ghost Dance is pretty easy to keep active. You just have to wait a couple of seconds and you get a charge. And I totally forgot that you should probably put fast forward here, because it gives supporter skills 30% less skill effect duration, which means that you should be getting the Ghost Dance buff more consistently. You won't have to wait 3.3 seconds. You'll only have to wait like around 2 point something seconds. I'm not going to do the maths right now, but I think this does make a difference. I've seen people running fast forward. I just completely forgot to put it on. I just remembered then why I'm doing this video. So there you go. Make sure you put fast forward on. I'm pretty sure it does give you the Ghost Dance stacks a little bit quicker. Now there's 2 other options you can take. My previous setup, I was using Ice Strike. Ice Strike feels very, very good. Tempest Flurry just feels a little bit better for bossing, but it's like 2 different flavors of ice cream. They're both fucking fantastic. It's really hard to choose between the 2. It's just different scenarios. Another option you could use over Falling Thunder is also Flicker Strike. In fact, I think Flicker Strike is far more effective, far more satisfying to use. It's a lot quicker, but Flicker Strike is very handy at putting you in the wrong fucking spot when it finishes sometimes. So I found I was dying a little bit more than what I was when I was just using Falling Thunder, so I did take my Flicker Strike off. As much as I liked it, maybe it's a skill issue on my part, maybe I'm not fucking good enough, I haven't mastered Flicker Strike yet, but for now, Falling Thunder just felt a little bit more consistent in keeping myself alive and not ending up on the wrong side of the fence, essentially. Alright, so now let's move on over to the gear, and like I just said before, my gear is absolutely fucking dog shit. It could be 10 times better, but I have made some improvements. This is all me going through the game solo. I haven't used any trading until now. The only thing I have traded for is this staff. I just couldn't get a better staff. The shops weren't stocking better staff. I just had to buy one if I wanted to push through high tiers. So I bit the bullet, and I did get this for about 5 Exalted, I think. That was a couple of days ago. I don't know if the prices have changed too much. I know things are going through the fucking roof at the moment. The market is so goddamn top heavy, but a couple of days ago, this was 5 Exalted, okay? So not too expensive. I feel like that's in most people's price ranges. It made a very substantial impact. As soon as I put this on over my old stuff, we were friggin' cruising, baby. The main thing that I have changed from my other stuff to this stuff is I'm taking more physical damage. I'm pretty sure physical damage is multiplicative. That's why you're seeing a lot of other monk builds now stacking physical damage. It seems to give you the most damage output. Try and get a plus to all melee skills. I've got +3. The max you can have is +7, I think. And then we've got 25% increased attack speed. I think in total we've got an extra like 40% attack speed. This staff does have 1.5. attack speed. So I think we've got 40% extra attack speed on top. So that is how we are attacking so quick and just flying through maps very quickly. We are absolutely cruising with all that extra attack speed. But for now, this stuff is doing wonders for me. I'll probably have to upgrade it sooner or later, but for now it is definitely kicking ass. Now I will just quickly show you my other bits of gear. They're not really that exciting. The main thing I am trying to stack on my bits of gear is evasion and a little bit of energy shield. I think evasion is key to your survival. Having as much evasion as possible is going to make it harder for the enemies to hit you. So you could be in a big pack of enemies, they could all literally miss you, and that might save you. So evasion seems to be very effective at survivability. So I've got evasion energy shield here. I've got more evasion, big stack of evasion on the body plate. I've got evasion energy shield on my gloves. I've also got attack speed. I've also got attack speed on my gloves, which is very beneficial. More physical damage, lightning damage. I got some resistances. And that's the other thing. Obviously, you want to prioritize resistances. So like evasion, energy shield, resistances are the three core components in that survivability triangle that is going to keep your monk alive. A good place to get a lot of resistances too is actually on your belt. This belt doesn't look that great, but you can easily get like 3 or 4 resistances on your belt. I've had plenty of belts drop with loads of resistances too, but this is the better of the belts I do have now. Now for the boots, these boots are fucking insane. I cannot believe I actually got these boots myself, because they come with 30% increased movement speed. And I cannot stress enough how important movement speed is in this game. You're very slow and sluggish, so being able to move 30% faster, you can just do circles around pretty much any mob pack. You don't really need to dodge as much with movement speed. It just feels so much better. You're playing a completely fucking different game. Movement speed paired up with the acceleration shrine, holy crap, you are zooming like Flash on fucking crack. So movement speed is pretty much a must if you want to start pushing higher tier waystones. It's not needed, but holy fuck does it make the game a hell of a lot easier when you have more movement speed. So that's pretty much it for the gear. I don't think there's anything else to really mention. Just prioritize resistances, make sure you get evasion, and then maybe take a little bit of energy shield, which will, further improve your survivability. And then for anyone who wants to see my stats and my resistances and my energy shield and my life and all that kind of good jazz, and there are my resistances. They're not exactly looking very pretty, but they still get the job done. I need to work on cold and fire, and also to try and get a bit more chaos resistance. Here are my stats, my dex, my intelligence and strength. I'm probably going to take some points out of intelligence and move them into strength, so I can, try out a few different things I have a few ideas for. But for now, these are my stats. All right, now moving over to the passive skill tree, not a lot has changed. I was moving this way forward. I got all this elemental damage, hoopla. We came over here and got some crit, I think, mana generation and increased energy shield. We've taken all this away. We've moved it all back, and we have gone down the bottom here. And the main reason for that is we're picking up more dexterity. We need more dexterity to keep leveling up our skills now. And to get enhanced reflexes, which further improves our invasion, gives us 8% increased dexterity, which is nice, helps us move some other stats around. But the main thing we got down here is Beastal Skin. So this is crazy. This basically increases your evasion on your body armor by 100%. That means we're getting 1400 evasion from our body armor thanks to this one node in the passive tree. So this is why I think a lot of people are taking Bestial Skin. It is very strong. We are also taking this melee damage node down here. This is really going to further amplify your damage. As you can see with Tempest Flurry here, it does 17,556 damage. So just with 10% melee damage, you can see it's giving us pretty much 500 extra damage, which is very substantial when you start stacking a load more melee damage. I did come down here just to get this elemental node. I see a lot of other people take this. It is fairly strong. That we can get 45% increased damage because we are using all 3 elemental ailments, and we just get more freeze build up, which is nice. Help freeze the enemies a little bit quicker. I think I had the 3 points here, one with the storm and the quarterstaff crit chance. I've taken those back now. We have kind of moved up the top here to grab more attack speed. Deep Trance is pretty good because it's going to reduce the cost of your skills. This is going to help a lot with your mana consumption. I did take Inner Faith. Inner Faith is just going to increase our evasion, increase our energy shield, and also reduce the effects of curses on you by 25%. This is going to help a lot. This cuts back all those curses that you get from trials, waystones. It all gets cut down by 25% thanks to Inner Faith. I think that's really it for all the nodes. I have gone around and picked up 4 jewel slots. So we have this one down the bottom here. We got this one over here, the third one up in this corner, and then we have got this other jewel slot right above Resonant. So these jewels are nowhere near perfect, but man, they're stacking some saucy upgrades. I'm slowly realizing that the jewels are very, very strong, very powerful, and if you get some good ones, you really want to slot those bad boys in. I did forget to mention I did take a bit of mana generation. We did have a mana issue with this build. We don't really have one too much anymore. Now we'll move over to the ascendancies. Nothing's changed. I'm a little bit defeated with trying to get my 3rd ascendancy at the moment. It fucking sucks. But we still just have I Am the Blizzard and Lead Me Through Grace. If I had the extra ascendancy, we could try out Sunder My Enemies, or we could take more defense with Protect Me From Harm. But I cannot get my 3rd ascendancy because I fucking suck at this game apparently. Well, it doesn't help that they don't drop, but I've had like 4 or 5 chances on the Trial of Sechamus, I think is how you pronounce that. And I can't fucking do it. I get all the way to the end and I fuck up. I fuck up because of the honor system. I'm just going to switch everything to range. We're going in with the range setup and we're hopefully going to get it done. But for now, I don't have the 3rd ascendancy and it fucking pains me every day. So that is basically it for the build video. Hopefully this video did help you guys out. I just want to quickly take this time and say I hope everyone had a very safe and Merry Christmas for anyone that celebrates it. I'm a little bit late here. I want to get this video out a little bit earlier than I did, but the big jolly red man did come to town and I got obviously busy with Christmas, so I didn't get this video out in time. So I do want to still wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. I hope you all stayed safe. Hope you all got spoiled. Hope you all ate too much Christmas ham, passed out on the couch. Life good. Are you rocking this build? Are you rocking something else? Let me know in the comment section below. I should have one more video before the big new year 2025. Holy shit, where the fuck did time go? Appreciate all the love and support as always, and until next time, stay safe. Peace out.